Like, why is that one brighter? Okay. So, Winnipeg Free Press just posted a thing on Twitter. I'm online all the time. Winnipeg Man, the skibicki thing, with the women who were fucking murdered by this white guy who allegedly fucking hates indigenous people and indigenous women. You know, you don't murder a bunch of girls without being a little bit sexist, in my opinion. I might be wrong. Maybe skibicki isn't that bad. Maybe it was just opportune to murder indigenous women consistently throughout his stretch of 4 separate murders. Insanity. Okay, so hi, welcome to Winnipeg. This isn't common. Unfortunately, Winnipeg is starting to feel a lot more chaotic and scary, and a lot more separate. I'm online a lot lately, mostly because I'm depressed. And my account on Twitter, I wanted to give myself an opportunity to take on different perspectives, because I might be considered someone who leans a little to the left. But I fucking hate the concept of leftism. And I could get into that, but there's a lot of... I don't like the idea of personality and character and identity being attached to the concept of leftness. That's nonsense. Just like people are not characteristically right. It's not a dichotomy that makes sense in my brain. Point. I am on Twitter. My account is, I set it up to be following some people who have less than savory perspectives on people who don't look white and people who don't have a barely acceptable livable wage, your middle income, racists. I decided to interact with some racist accounts. Give me one sec. Is that better? For a couple reasons. I can't wrap my head around racism. I don't get it. I don't get hating people like that. Like, it's so weird. It's weirdo behavior. I genuinely think that being racist is a fucking mental illness. Like, I think your brain is crippled. I think your brain is broken. If you're racist, and like, there is a cure for racism, and it's empathy. Sorry to be a hippie on you, but it's basic common decency. It's basic humanity, recognition of humanity. If you are a person who doesn't recognize the humanity in another individual, you are fucked. Like, you're literally a broken person, and you're crippled in the brain, and you need help. So I'm just curious about like the mentality and how people interact with perspectives which are not their own. For example, me saying that racism is a mental illness. Am I going to interact with people who are racist like I'm a cunt who hates people with mental illness? No, I'm going to address people with this thing crawling in their brain, this like ingrained hate, this like tumor of nonsense, this disability, really. And I'm going to talk to them out of curiosity, like the same way I would explore my own depression or another person's suicidal ideation, or a person's, when you're in the midst of an attack of sorts, whatever your thing is that your mind does to cope with the world around you, when you are experiencing an attack of sorts within yourself, addressing that curiously and semi-interested in exploring, why is this happening? Obviously, when people are having a panic attack, it's not good to be like, what's wrong with you, mom? Throwback to 10 years ago. You remember, I'm sure. Um, it doesn't help to combat an individual experiencing an attack of their illness. An asthma attack, it doesn't help to shake people. Someone with a broken leg, it doesn't help to be like, here, let me put it back together. Don't do that. I'm not a doctor, though. Maybe you should be doing that. The reason why I decided to interact a little bit more with individuals who are showing their face or are expressing the persona of an anonymous individual with specific opinions, which are usually racist, but not always racist, because racist people also have values of, safety. Racist people also like to have housing. Racist people like to go play ball in the park, Not every racist individual on Twitter is going to speak solely in racist rhetoric, racist language, racist reactions on their Twitter. They're also going to express opinions on shows sometimes, probably. I haven't seen it, but I definitely imagine racist people have more than just racism to create a persona around, or to be a person. Reason why I bring this up. I am interested. Oh, not that one. I'm curious about the reaction to the racist actions taken by this dude who fucking murdered women and indigenous women and people, human beings, and digging into what are the words, what are the things that are going to be said about these women who were fucking murdered, what is the defense going to be, what is it going to look like for these human beings whose lives were stolen from them, taken from them by this individual who is pardon me, fucking retarded. Your brain becomes a rock when you are racist, okay? I'm curious about what is going to be said and how this is going to be turned into defendable or shirking some kind of responsibility. If you murder a person, are there exceptions to doing a crime? Yeah, I think there's exceptions to fucking killing people. I don't know. That's kind of a huge intense conversation that I kind of got into in a different video. That one's more about murdering babies. Yes, okay, so what is our current relationship to, no, why did I want to dig into that? What's his name? Jason? It's Jeremy. Okay, I'm probably gonna call him Jason, because I don't think he's worth remembering. Huh. I've never gotten that far up before. I know, I am gonna get back to the point, but now. Weird. It's like that's my nose, that's my skull. Weird. Okay. Cool. Right there, hey? Neat. Yeah, I want to know what is going to be said on Twitter about this news. Winnipeg man admits to killing 4 women, says not criminally responsible. What does that mean? How can you be not, first react, how can you be not criminally responsible to killing 4 women? Or is it going to be self-defense? And how are people going to... better. Is he going to claim self-defense? And how is his people, oh my god, how are his people going to argue self-defense 4 separate times? I'm just curious. I'm gonna read it. I'm so curious. Is it going to be I was gonna date these girls and then they tried to kill me, and then could that lean into the whole "see, told you," just like a native kind of rhetoric that people who are racist cling to as soon as they... Okay, we can massage that out more. I'm not gonna do that on camera, although... Wow. It's just... Oh. Ah. You ugly as fuck. Okay. The bowl is back. Racism. An argument for being not criminally responsible, self-defense, 4 times in a row. Yeah, mental capacity. Okay, let's read it. Let's stop picking our nose. Let's just fucking read it. Winnipeg. This is written by the Canadian Press. Is there a human being attached to the Canadian Press? No. It's kind of weird that you don't get to put your name on, or maybe you do, I don't know. Anyway, from the Canadian Press on Winnipeg, Free Press. Winnipeg, a man has admitted in court that he killed 4 women in Winnipeg, but his lawyers are asking he not be found criminally responsible because of mental illness. 4 times. Well, that was what I was saying. Racism is a mental illness. Okay. Racism, being a fucking racist, is the mental illness. I question what the specific argument, the specific mental illness is going to be, how that is going to be weaponized to defend the actions of skibicki. So sorry. I'm not editing this. I'm like, do I take out retarded or do I leave it? You know, it's contextual. What is the illness? And then why is that going to be used as a defense? You know, you see it, I mean, if you're anything like me and you've heard it before, he was crazy when he did this, the Vincent Lee thing, you know? Vincent Lee literally had, again, when I'm talking about attacks of illness, Vincent Lee literally had a schizophrenic attack and acted out a threat that he was experiencing in his mind on a circumstance which he was not able to recognize as real or unreal. His reality in that moment was the feeling of a threat and the need to act to protect himself in response to that threat. Schizophrenic attack, to an extent. When I think about racism as a mental illness, lots of people, I mean lots of people, are fucking racist. Lots of people are fucking racist. And most of those people who are fucking racist do not do crimes of murder. There's a lot of like mean bullying, you know, and this isn't a pass. This isn't like a here's a pass. um it's not a pass, and also fuck, where was I going with that? It's not a pass to be racist. Oh yeah, it's not a pass to like bully people online with your whole like anti whoever racist stuff you got going on in your brain, you know, again, an attack, right? We put Vincent Lee on drugs so that he doesn't have schizophrenic attacks. I'm starting to think maybe we should bring back lobotomy, or at least like put people who are racist on drugs that suppress that like psychotic urge to just hate, right? It is abnormal. It's abnormal to hate people because of their race. It's actually like literally abnormal and like maladaptive to hate individuals to that extent, to the extent that you're willing to murder kids or like women or anyone who doesn't fit within your acceptable, like the things that don't trigger you, you know, like racists are hella sensitive, I think, like too sensitive to like a little bit of a tan, too sensitive to difference, you know, and I think maybe that sensitivity should get bred out, and it will eventually. But okay, so Skibicki, he's got a mental illness. What is it? Court of King's Bench Chief Justice Glenn Joyal said Monday, the question of Skibicki's mental capacity and intent will now be the focus of the trial. Mental capacity and intent will be the focus of the trial. I guess that makes sense, because if Skibicki had claimed not guilty, then the focus would be on proving that he had done the crimes, versus claiming mental illness. The trial now has to be framed around subjective and objective psychological factors that went into the fact of murder, which Skibicki did to these women. So the trial, which I gotta be honest, I'm kind of excited about, in my own, I love the concept of law. I think law is very cool. I hate racism. I don't know if you can tell. He's 37. What the fuck? Guy, you could have, that's the thing, is like, I'm sure this guy has a personality outside of like crimes and like murder and hating indigenous women and like probably hating women in general, because you like, you can murder any women. You can murder anyone, truly. You shouldn't. Don't do it. But you really could. And, like, women are so easy to kill. They're just, like, we're so easy to attack. We're so easy to... We are little prey to fucking predators, right? Relax. I know, you're strong and you're powerful. I agree. But the fact of the matter is, at any point in time, someone could kill you. Do you feel more vulnerable as an individual, or do you feel more vulnerable as a woman? I don't think you can really compare, but I do know that women are super, super killable. Little palate cleanser from that reality. Okay, so you kill bitches, super easy to do. Mental capacity, indigenous women, Skibicki is an animal. Or, okay, the potential of what could have been, right? So imagine if Skibicki wasn't like a little freak, and decided to spend his time like playing with his kids, or going out into the world and being useful, making a meaningful difference. Imagine if Skibicki chose to care about the world around him rather than to destroy these girls. Like, I think of everybody as like a child, okay? If I say these kids, then just know that I'm talking about the people whose lives were taken from them, right? Like, the potential. You know, these kids were murdered. Skibicki could have been a better person, right? Not only that, but Skibicki could have given by not killing, given by not taking these women the opportunity to experience life, you know? And how fun is it to love? How fun is it to be alive? I love living, right? Like, yeah, I want to kill myself, but I'm really glad that I'm alive type of deal. And like, if Skibicki had been a better person, if Skibicki had probably been on drugs to take care of all the things that go on in his brain, then we probably would have had we would have had safer streets. We would have had these women still with their families. The effect of the deaths would not have been felt. Not yet. I mean, like, everybody dies eventually, right? But at least the women would have had autonomy over when and what they do generally. I understand systemic shit. Like all the barriers between, I mean, at this moment, all the barriers between people and their highest capacity. But I mean, being murdered doesn't help that, right? Like, being fucking attacked by an individual. There's this line in Regina Spektor's Laughing With. No one laughs at God in a hospital. No one laughs at God in a war. No one's laughing at God in a... Okay, how does it go? Last sight they'll ever see is a pair of hateful eyes. Something like that. Oh, when he's... Wait, how does it go? Presented like a genie who does grants wishes and like Jiminy Cricket and Santa Claus. God could be so hilarious. Ha ha. Ha ha. No one laughs at God in a hospital. No one laughs at God in a war. No one's laughing at God when they're starving or freezing or so very poor. But God could be funny at a cocktail party while listening to a good godly joke. Or when the crazy say he hates us and they get so red in the head you think they're about to choke. But God could be funny when total give you money if you just pray the right way. When presented like... Okay, so the reason why I brought this up is because there's that line. No one laughs at God when they realize the last sight they'll ever see is a pair of hateful eyes. And it's a beautiful song. Not that you could tell, but it's an important song. It's good from top to bottom, and there is that line which I have been attacked before. I've been strangled before. I've been choke held before. I have been physically assaulted. I've been sexually assaulted. I have seen my life flash before my eyes and I've depended on bystanders to save my life. And I have depended on a system of individuals who go into these jobs with a positive intention, hopefully, to make things good in their communities and then end up making things work worse for the people that they interact with. Hello, me, and a lot of other people. Indigenous, let's talk, like, it's a big topic, big whatever, is killing girls, killing Indigenous girls, and killing people in general. But again, like, murder is bad. I don't think I need to... I'm gonna keep reiterating it, just in case we forget. I'm gonna find the lyric. No one's laughing at God in the hospital. No one laughing at God in the hospital. No one's laughing at God in the war. War. It's okay. These notes are not for nothing. We are going to get back to it. I do want to dig into what is Skibicki's mental illness. Just like Listen to this, okay?
No one laughs at God in a hospital. No one laughs at God in a war.
No one's laughing at God
when they're starving or freezing or
so very poor.
No one laughs at God.
But I don't.
Doctor calls after some root.
But I don't like this quality, so we're gonna see if this one is better quality. Yeah. Oh.
No one laughs at God in a hospital. No one laughs at God in a war. No one's laughing at God when they're starving or freezing or so very poor. No one laughs at God when a doctor calls after some routine tests. No one's laughing at God when it's gotten real late and their kid's not back from that party yet. No one laughs at God when their airplane starts uncontrollably shaking. No one's laughing at God when they see the one they love hand in hand with someone else and they hold and speak. No one laughs at God when the cops knock on their door and they say we got some bad news, sir. No one's laughing at God when there's a family fire or flood. But God can be funny. At a cocktail party while listening to a good coffee joke. Or when the crazy say he hates us and they get so red in their head they think they're about to choke. God can be funny. When told to give you money if you just pray the right way. You're one presented like a genie who does magic like Houdini or catches like Jiminy Cricket and Santa Claus. God can be so hilarious. Ha ha. Ha. No one laughs at God in a hospital. No one laughs at God in a war. No one's laughing at God when they've lost all they got and they don't know what for. No one laughs at God on a daily real life at the last sight that ever sees a pair of hateful eyes. No one's laughing at God when they're saying their goodbyes. God can be funny. Hey, got your body listening to a good goddamn joke. Or when the crazy say he hates us and they get so red in their head you think they're about to choke. God can be funny. But don't give you money if you don't spread it out. When you're thinking
Oh my god.
there's magic like Houdini or cartridges like Jiminy Cricket and Santa Claus. God can be so hilarious. No one laughs at God in a hospital. No one laughs at God in a war. No one laughs at God in a hospital.
No one laughs at God in the war. No one's laughing at God in the hospital. No one's laughing at God in the war.
No one's laughing at God when they're starving or freezing or so very poor. No one's
Laughing at God. No one's laughing at God.
No one's laughing at God. We're all laughing with God.
Okay. Thanks, Regina. Hi. You come up, my baby? Come, my baby. You my sugar pie. Sweetie. Sugar. You good? Skibicki and doing crimes. Mental illness. The feeling of being killed. Cause that's like if you've never been assaulted before and come out of it, it's crazy to know that you were in the midst of being killed, right? Like to frame your experience, your near-death experience as with another individual as where's my cat? Okay. I don't want to be running over my baby. to recognize that you, in those experiences, when you come out of them, were on the verge of being dead, and then to put yourselves into the experiences. Maybe don't throw yourself too close into the empathetic experiences of these girls, these women, these kids who were murdered by skibicki. When you imagine that if you were not found, or if someone didn't call the cops, or if someone didn't walk past as you were in the middle of being attacked, if someone didn't interrupt the moment of you being killed, you would have died, right? If it were not for skibicki being fucking racist and all of the situations and circumstances which individuals find themselves in that lead them to the moment of being attacked by an individual. Again, no one's ever really asking to be murdered, right? Like, except for like a couple times, but that's different. That's like cannibalism. Oh my god. Okay, I know I just got really... Judge rejects accused serial killer's bid for judge alone trial. Okay, I want to read that first. I am gonna get to it. Judge rejects accused serial killer's bid for judge alone trial. The case against a Winnipeg man accused of murdering 4 Indigenous women will be heard by a jury. Gosh. A judge has rules. The ruling paves the way for a jury selected. Oh my god. Okay, reading is hard. Hello. I'm told I gain money if you just pray the right way, or when presented like a genie who does magic. Houdini. Ruling paves way. Jury selected last week. Begin hearing evidence. His trial beginning next Wednesday. This Wednesday. 2 days. Skibicki pleaded not guilty. 4 counts first-degree murder. May 22. Slaying. Oh, in the May 2022 slayings of 3 Indigenous women: Morgan Harris, Rebecca Contois, Mercedes Myron, as well as a 4th unidentified woman who was killed March 2022. She has been called Mashgode Bijigekwe. Mashgode Bijigekwe. See, I like, it's the I guess once you like start saying it, then it's easy. Mashgode Bijigekwe. Mashgode Bijigekwe. By Indigenous leaders. Okay, read that again. Skibicki pleaded not guilty. 4 counts first-degree murder. The slayings of Morgan Harris, Rebecca Contois, Mercedes Myron, and Mashgode Bijigekwe by Indigenous. Okay, Buffalo woman is what that means. And I wonder why Buffalo woman. I wonder why Buffalo. Come back home. Okay. Interesting. Good name. Sad name. Good name. Come back home. Skibicki. Ugh, God. He looks racist. Like, did this guy care about anything other than this? Skibicki's lawyers have said they will be arguing that he should be found not criminally responsible for the slaying by reason of mental disorder. In a motion heard this week, Skibicki's team argued extensive... I'm sorry. I'd be biased if you were just racist. Okay. Motion heard this past week. Defense team argued extensive media coverage of the case has biased the jury pool to the extent that he would not receive a fair trial unless tried by a judge alone. You shouldn't have been fucking racist. You shouldn't have been racist. That's the thing, is like, you shouldn't have been racist and you shouldn't have killed people, okay? It's so easy. You wouldn't have this problem of people being biased against racists and murderers if you didn't fucking kill people. Like, you wouldn't be in this situation if you just didn't do the crimes in the first place, bitch. Like, you feeling so, oh, people are gonna be mad at me because I did these murders, and people are talking about it and they know I did these murders. I guess maybe you don't want to go into, but you already said that you were guilty. Like, what difference is it gonna make? What difference is it gonna make? You are guilty. Racism is a mental illness, but most people don't act to this extent on their, like, fucking, they're craving to be a racist. I don't know. Like, what is that? I don't know. I don't even know what to call it. It's so abnormal. I know I keep saying it, but I just, like, remember, it's not normal to be fucking racist, and it's not normal to kill people. It's not regular. Guys, come on. It's so easy to not kill people. Most people don't do crimes like that, at least. Like, most people don't murder. I have concluded based on the governing jurisprudence and the evidence before me that it's not the clearest of cases requiring me to override Crown discretion. Defense motion is dismissed. I've concluded based on the governing jurisprudence and the evidence before me that this is not the clearest of cases requiring me to override the Crown's discretion. Okay, I'm going to come back to that because I think I get it, but I'm going to let it sit for a second. Christine Ruva, U.S. psychology professor and the expert on the issue of jury bias, justified for the defense that pretrial media attention creates unconscious bias in a jury pool that is unlikely to be corrected by judicial safeguards. How can you even tell? No, that's literally the point of the safeguards. You ask them questions to see if they're biased, and then you get jurors, right? Like, there is going to be an unbiased individual at some point in time. Like, and you would think that Skibicki would want a jury so that if he is deemed mentally incompetent, that at least the jurors could be like, yes, like, this guy should get away with murder because he's broken inside. I wonder if he saw that Vincent Lee eventually was set free because he was deemed like fucking insane. He's had a schizophrenic attack. Like, I don't know the language around it. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I haven't been this entire time, and I keep feeling like I need to. You're not that sensitive. Relax. You've made it this far, probably. This far. Pretrial media attention creates unconscious bias in a jury pool that's unlikely to be corrected by judicial safeguards and trial processes. Again, like, okay, sure, maybe not. Probably will, maybe not. And also, you deserve it. You deserve a trial that is like I don't, what kind of biases? What biases are you afraid people are going to bring into a trial around a racist murderer? Like, is that a bias or is that a fact, I guess? I guess that's kind of like what the question is. Am I being biased against someone who is racist and did murders and admitted to doing murders and you know, I don't know if the landfill thing is true because, you know, we haven't found the bodies yet, but we haven't found the bodies yet, right? Girls could have been dumped in the river. Girls could have been put fucking anywhere. These bodies could have been put anywhere. Fact of the matter is, these bodies are bodies. They're not people living out in the world, being able to experience their life like they deserve to, like any individual deserves to, like you and I deserve to be experiencing life. I will go outside today. What are the biases? Maybe I'm not clear on what those biases might be. Most people aren't racist. Are you looking for someone who, I don't know. What are you trying to, what? I don't know. I don't understand. Okay, hold on. no. Water. River worked with Skibicki's team, Skibicki's defense team, on a February poll that found 73% of respondents who were aware of the case said they had a negative impression of Skibicki because he did murders. And 61% said they had an opinion as to his guilt. Again, you are saying that you've done it, so like, what's the fucking bias here? Of those who said they had an opinion on guilt, 90% expressed the opinion that he was guilty. I want to know who was asked, okay? Critical thinking. How many people were asked? I don't see sources. I wish they would cite their sources. Like, I guess that's the point. Like, you're not allowed to cite sources. But if you're like talking about fucking poll and research and shit, then you should be citing your sources, okay? I'm an academic. I want proof of what it is that you're saying. I don't want to have to Google everything. I just want to, you have something to say, cite your sources. Okay. 73% of responders who were aware of the case said that they had a negative impression of Skibicki. So 73% of the respondents, so that's 73 people. 61 said they had an opinion to their guilt. So 73% of the people, 61% of people who knew about it had a negative impression of Skibicki because he did do crimes. He did violent things towards people who shouldn't have been violated. It would be like obscene and abnormal, again, for a person who hears about this crime to think nothing of this, or to think, I mean, 61%. That's kind of like weird though, right? Like, I don't have a bad impression of the guy who murdered 4 indigenous women and dumped their bodies somewhere, who knows where, you know? Maybe he's not too bad of a guy. I know I'm saying that. Saying the potential of Skibicki was there, and then he went and did this. And then 90% of the people expressed... 90%? Okay. Yeah, okay. So 90% of the 61? See, this is really unclear language in this. Paragraph. Of the 14 jurors, I like read ahead for a second there. Of the 14 jury people, including the 2 alternates selected last week for this Wednesday's beginning trial, 9 of the 14 said that they were aware of the case and 5 said that they were not. Joyal said he gave limited weight to Ruva's testimony, citing her lack of experience and knowledge of the Canadian court system. Yeah, you fucking nerd. Her apparent rigid position that exposure to pretrial publicity will inevitably lead to bias that is nearly impossible to overcome. Yeah, so everybody's gonna come into a case like this with some sort of bias, right? Like, even if people haven't heard about this through the news, which I think is kind of like, I don't really agree if that's, I mean, like, you said what you said, right? You're not going to perjure yourself. You're not going to do a crime so you can get a murderer off with a lesser sentence just because you're fucking racist, right? Like, you're not going to pretend to be a decent law-abiding citizen and not perjure yourself. Sorry. You just wouldn't do that. Anyway, so of the 5 people who are now jurors who said that they haven't heard about this case, they might come into this case being like, having a bias of race, gender, biases towards, policing, God or something. I don't know. We all come to every space that we take up with our biases. Some people's biases are just like more powerful than others, right? Like, if you are biased against indigenous women, maybe you'll do a weird little thing like kill them, weirdo stuff. Or maybe you'll fight them, or maybe you'll assault them, like weird biases. Racism is the bias towards a specific race that you prefer, and a big hate for those that you do not. Again, Love to hear it. Quote, not only is that position not supported in Canadian jurisprudence, it appears to exist in contradiction to the evidence of pollster and defense witness Keto Maggie, who agreed under questioning that a juror's opinion could change over time if provided new information. Yeah, like rational beings are able to come into a certain context with an opinion and then develop that opinion and understanding of the situation through exposure of what's happening, right? Like through evidence. Like people lean towards what is correct. People learn by what they are exposed to, or they should be learning by what they're exposed to. So if evidence comes out that Skibicki is not guilty of doing crimes against these women, then the jury is going to have to be convinced by that, right? Like, and they're going to have to make a decision based on that being convinced. If Skibicki says, I'm guilty, but I'm crazy. I'm just one of those crazy things. Hashtag crazy Skibicki things. Don't. Every time. Like, ha ha ha, funny girl. Ugh. Yeah. Skibicki's opinion on women could have been changed if he chose to listen to women, probably. His position on hating indigenous people could have been changed if he chose the more empathetic route and gave a fuck about people outside of himself. People, to quote Kendrick, they aren't slow. They're not slow. Like, people aren't dumb, buddy. And then you also said that okay. Not only is that, we're going to recode this. Joyle said he gave limited weight to Ruva's testimony, citing her lack of experience and knowledge in the Canadian court system. So trying to bring like exposed like American stuff to Canada is what I'm kind of gleaning from that. Court system and her apparent rigid position that exposure to pre-trial publicity will inevitably lead to bias that is nearly impossible to overcome. People ain't stupid. Not only is this position not supported in Canadian jurisprudence, it appears to exist in contradiction to the evidence of pollster and defense witness Keto Maggie, who agreed under questioning that a juror's opinion. Okay, so they brought in two witnesses who contradicted each other. Stupid. Canadian courts have numerous safeguards to address juror bias. To address juror people bias, Joyle said, including screening at the selection stage, rules of evidence, instructions on the law, and repeated reminders to base their verdicts only on the evidence. A juror person faces a heightened civic responsibility when he or she take the juror's oath. Yeah, like when you are a person who is committed to ooh. It's us. When you are a person who is committed to the spirit of the law, when you're a person who is committed to the greatest, best outcome in a conflict, when you are a person who commits to upholding the rightness of the spirit of the law as a juror, when you are a citizen who takes seriously your actions as a citizen, your ability to shape a person's life, people take that shit fucking seriously. I would be really interested in finding out if how many of these people have been jurors before, juror persons, and like the law people's relationship with, you know, the concept of society and community and what it means to uphold a specific standard of positive living, of good living, of healthy living in the community. Anyway, okay, so juror persons have already been picked. Juror persons are picked. The trial starts on Wednesday. You're going to read most recent, top to bottom, mental capacity in question. Winnipeg man admits to killing 4 women, says not criminally responsible. Winnipeg. A man has admitted in court that he killed 4 women in Winnipeg, but his lawyers are asking he be found not criminally responsible because of mental illness. Court of King's Bench, Chief Justice Glenn Joyal. We're going to call him Glenn from now on. Sorry, I just don't want to say your last name. Glenn. Monday, the question of skibicki's mental capacity. Okay. Court of King's Bench Chief Justice Glenn said on Monday that the question of skibicki's mental capacity and the intent will now be the focus of the trial. Okay, again, so if he had said, I am not guilty, would it been on proving? Maybe. I'm not a lawyer. The Crown agreed that the trial, which is supposed to be with a jury... No! Fuck! Oh, wait. The Crown agreed. Fuck. The Crown agreed that the trial, which was supposed to be with a jury, will instead be heard by a judge alone because of the complexities of this type of defense. Fuck! Oh, so it would have been a jury if he had pleaded not... Okay, hold on. Okay. Wait. He pleaded not guilty. I see. Okay, so he pleaded not guilty. How things change. It's only been 3 days. Man, the lawyers got me. You fucking got me. Here I was... Okay, well, the conversations about jury persons is fair. And you know what? I feel like it's probable that in reaction to getting a jury and hearing those stats or whatever, because defense so strongly believed that if he pleaded not guilty and was tried by a jury, then he would have been found guilty. Like, defense is like, there's no way you're getting out of this, dude. You did crimes. Like, you did it. And they're going to find you guilty. So you change what you are pleading. To be not guilty. Guilty but not criminally responsible. Okay. Like, guilty but not responsible. I did this, but you know, it couldn't be helped. It couldn't be helped that 4 people in a row, I just had to kill him. I just had to do it to him. God damn it. Wow. What a fun turn of events this has been. A roller coaster. Gosh. The Crown agreed that the trial, which was supposed to be with a jury, will instead be heard by a judge alone because of complexities with this type of defense. Okay. Fascinating. So the judge is going to hear the evidence that is presented to the court from experts, you know, your cross experts or whatever. Who is representing so it's okay. Who? Crown v. Skibicki. That's fair. I mean, it's not like Morgan Mercedes. Ooh, Morgan Mercedes. Kashkode Bejiikekwe. Boy, howdy. It's taking me longer to read through this one. Morgan, Rebecca, Mercedes. Mashkode Bejiikekwe. Ikwe. Gosh. Bijiki Ikekwe. You're still here. Concluding this matter before a jury. Concluding. Okay, I guess they didn't talk about what kind of mental illness he's gonna... Oh my fucking god, finally. Sorry, Center Village site donated to Winnipeg Rehabilitation Corp. This housing development has been sitting there for... Yeah, fucking god. Nah, this set of like housing, cute housing, you know, was... Okay, we don't have to get into that. That's a whole ass other thing. Just planning, city planning stuff. Rebecca, it's literally right there. Not criminally responsible because of mental illness. What mental illness is he going to say? Trial is to start Wednesday. Skibicki, 37, has pleaded not guilty to 4 counts of first-degree murder. You did say admitted to court, not criminally responsible, so is there a difference? Let's find out. Google, ask a lawyer. Bruh. Between... Is there a difference between not criminally responsible and not guilty, right? Okay. Not criminally responsible. Not criminally responsible is the insanity defense. What is the mental illness? I'm so curious. Like, I want to know what is Skibicki and his defense team going to cling to as the illness which made him kill 4 indigenous women in a row. Not in a row, but I mean, like... So he did do it. He did do it. He has admitted to doing it. Which, by the way, if you go back to, like, actually, we're going to change our plea to not guilty, this admitting to killing it is just going to increase the bias, stupid. Like, fuck. Anyway. But I'm not a lawyer. That was like in harmony, right? Well, good talk. I want to know, and maybe I'll do this on my own, what kinds of... I want to ask Pi, what kinds of defenses, mental disorders, you gotta like... Please don't look at me type. Mental disorders. It's so embarrassing. Can be used in not criminally responsible pleads. Please? It's please. He's gonna have to show a history, though. That's the thing, right? Like, no person is criminally responsible for an act committed or an omission made while suffering from a mental disorder that rendered the person incapable of appreciating the nature and quality of the act or omission, or of knowing that it was wrong. Okay. Okay. Google. Let's go. It's actually Bing. I be binging. Rendering the person incapable of appreciating the nature and the quality of the act. Okay. What is the nature of murder? To end the life of another person. What is the nature of murdering women? To fucking kill women. And what is the nature of murdering indigenous women? To fucking murder indigenous women. I know. Okay. Now, the reason why I put emphasis on those is that murder is bad, right? Like, murder is the intention of ending a person's life. Murdering a woman, any woman at all, is like an act of violence towards women. Even if it wasn't, oh, I hate women, an act of hate towards women, it is an act of hate towards a woman. Okay, you don't have to hate women to murder them, but you definitely have to hate women. And then you go into what is the nature of killing indigenous women. You're adding another flavor in there. Ooh, fucking indigenous girls, let's kill them. There is a third layer of dehumanization when you do a kill on someone who is an indigenous woman. I have to stand because an hour is too long to be sitting. So not criminally responsible. You in your moment. So again, like, let's compare. The Vincent Lee case is so interesting, and obviously like fucking sad. But a great example of like an actual situation of mental illness and being not criminally responsible, right? Like. Do your stretch. How? Okay. Oh. Yeah, so Vincent Lee in his schizophrenic snap, I suppose, was incapable of recognizing the reality as the reality that it was. We need to, because he has admitted to being, to having done the murders, they're going to have to dig into what were the exact circumstances of the murders, right? So, did you pick up these girls in your truck and then fucking kill them? Did you, were you predacious? Were you hunting them in a way? Did you go down to Midden Higgins and look for these vulnerable women? One of them is a homeless woman, right? Like, did you go out of your way to look for a vulnerable woman that you could kill because you're a little bitch? Fucking Christ. What a little bitch. What a fucking loser. Can I just say what a fucking loser skibicki is? What a goddamn dork. What a dork. Like, you could have been so cool. You could have been an interesting person who brought value to the world, and instead you're just a fucking loser. A fucking racist fucking loser. God, you should be embarrassed. And you know what? Shout out to all you other fucking racists, all you other fucking people who like to do kills on people who are more vulnerable than you, all you little bitches. Fuck you. Kill yourself. Do it now. Do it now. Let's just like breed out racism. Okay? Okay, cool. Get it out of there. No more of that in the gene pool. Maybe I do like eugenics. Please don't take that out of context. Eugenics isn't great. But it can be useful, I guess, in this circumstance. That probably should have been fixed. But only with your consent, okay? Autonomy. Gotta like come back from that. How do you come back from just like feeling like, you know what? Oh my gosh. I think I'm racist against racists. I think that's what that was. Because I don't feel a lot of like violent rage towards most things. But that gosh, now I know what it's like to be racist, right? Like, you can't want to cause harm to another individual with that much hate in yourself and be okay. Like, and anyway, okay. Yuck, that's such a gross feeling. And I wouldn't hate him so much if he wasn't like a fucking creep and a fucking loser. And I'm not gonna get back down into that. Damn, you fucking loser. Holy fuck. Ugh, what a fucking loser. God. I'm not a poetic bitch. I don't have language to diss. Like, it's just not in my vocabulary. But trust me when I say, fuck you, you fucking loser. God. Okay. So. I imagine, court is going to have to hear what were the specific circumstances which resulted in the killings of these fucking women, right? The nature, and then the intention, right? The quality of the act or omission or of knowing that it was wrong. The person was incapable of appreciating the nature and quality of the act or omission of the act. And then if you look at the omission, okay, so of the act, it takes a cognitively aware, cognizant, if you will, please do. It takes a cognizant individual to kill a person sometimes, but it takes a cognizant individual to dump a body, or to not say, oh, I did that. I killed that person and I need to get help. Obviously, a natural reaction to being a murderer is to dump the body, right? But you have to be aware that you've just done a crime in order for you to try to hide that crime, correct? That's why when your kid breaks a dish in the kitchen, they scurry away, you know? That's you did a crime. They try to hide it, or they like sweep it under the rug. The amount of things that your kids are hiding from you, beautiful. I love it. It's impressive. But your kids are probably not going to try and hide a dead body from you because they're not like fucking psychotic. Probably most kids I don't think are actually psychotic, but some definitely. Gotta get rid of those ones too. Again. Quality of the act. Okay, so the omission, not telling anybody that you did it, and the act itself. You know, doing a murder, becoming in the situation where you do a murder. And then when you like follow through on doing the murder, why? So there are 4 circumstances. He did admit to killing the women. Did he get into detail? That's a question I'm interested in getting answered, is did he go into detail about the situations which he found himself in with these women to cause him to do a murder? Play the right way when presented like a genie, just magic. Or of not knowing that it was wrong. But like, you know that it's wrong to kill people. Like, that's common sense, right? Like, right? Like, for like, I'm sure you've watched, not to throw media made him do it kind of thing, but definitely, I mean, like, racism is learned, right? Like, hate for another individual is, again, abnormal. It is learned. It is inherited by our circumstances and by our experiences and by the people who raise us, right? Like, if you were racist, your mom probably hates indigenous people too, or something like that, you know? Our trauma can be genetic, and becoming racist because of the things that you're exposed to is, I would say, a form of trauma. Right? Go to therapy. Maybe we shouldn't euthanize all racists. Maybe we should get racists some therapy. You know, maybe therapy should be free. You can change your mind. Only euthanize some racists. There. Euthanize. Knowing that it was wrong. Most people know that killing others is wrong. Most people know that being violent with your hate is a bad idea. I mean, it's shit that you should learn when you're a kid, right? Like, you can hate something, but you can't beat it up. You're just like, we can't go around as adults punching shit. So much as I would love sometimes to just, like, knock a skibicki in the head, we can't do that. And I wouldn't have to feel like I wanted to do that if he wasn't like that, you know? I'm not saying I blame the parents, because who knows his upbringing. And again, not criminally responsible. Bitch, when we're talking, like, your state of mind, you're gonna have to prove a history. You're gonna have to prove a long history of, you know, seeking help, doing things that people who have mental health disorders do, experiencing the things that people with mental health disorders experience. You know, your drugs, your therapy. Did you go out of your way to get help? Because that's what people with mental illness do, right? Like Vincent Lee was on drugs, or like in the process of being on drugs. He was off his meds when he did the kill, but he also was diagnosed, was aware of what his circumstances were and the fact that he was on it. And I don't know if we need to get into this right now, but it's just like right here. I have to like stretch out. Ugh, oh, it really fucking hurts. Or like hang from something. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Vincent Lee was very, very, very sick, and what I was going to say was on the concept of bodily autonomy and, you know, the right to life, being numb and all that stuff. Taking drugs and then feeling like you're better and then going off of drugs when you are forced to, when your brain just works like that, and you can't be off drugs, because if you are off drugs, then the normalcy that you feel is going to go back to the abnormalcy of what it is that you experience when you are going through those disorder attacks. Oh. If you just pray the right way, or when presented like a genie. High knees, all the high knees. Okay. Yeah. Ooh. Kick through my computer screen. We just have to kick a lot of stuff. He knew that it was wrong, but he wasn't in his right faculties or whatever. Yeah, I guess, I don't know. Did I say anything, really, this entire time? I am excited to, morbid as that is, I don't know, I don't have the other words for it. I'm excited to check out this trial, and I am interested in the outcome. I'm curious about what is the argument going to be on on defense's side. I'm very curious about that. And I am interested about the expert witnesses. What are they going to say? Who's going to show up? What is the argument going to be? How much information is Skibicki's team going to give the public? How much are we going to be able to glean from this case as the public, right? Like what the fuck is going to happen? And how is this case going to affect accountability, and how is it going to set precedent, I guess? How is the outcome of this case going to affect human rights, racism, misogyny, criminal acts against groups of people for the fact of being hateful, hate crimes? There we go. Get to the point. How is this case going to change or affect the concept of hate crimes and accountability when crimes fueled by hate are done against people? Are there going to be specific, more protective measures put in place? Is therapy going to be free so people who fucking hate indigenous people for no reason, or for men who hate women for no reason to the point that they end up murdering them, like, is there going to be therapy that is accessible to people to prevent these things from happening? Because again, the potential of the women, not just the women who were murdered, but the potential of Jason Skibicki was there. There was the possibility that these individuals who are now fodder for the media, and me, I guess, to be, there was the opportunity for life. There was the opportunity for, like, improvement and love. What were the circumstances? What were the circumstances which these women found themselves in that prevented them from being able to access a better way of living? For the woman who was experiencing homelessness, the named woman who was experiencing homelessness, what did she need in order to be safe in her home, in order to be safe in this fucking city? What did Mercedes and Rebecca and Morgan need in order to be comfortable in this fucking city? Was it addiction supports? Was it familial supports? What was it? Was it a universal basic wage top off? You know, what were the things that could have mitigated the circumstances which put these vulnerable people in positions of vulnerability? And I think that is something that we can get from I think that these are answers that we can get from this case, that we should be exploring, and that we should be making decisions around, political decisions around, in order to prevent women and people from being vulnerable, and to keep people who express hate and racism in violent manners in check. Like, there's a lot of power and potential in this, and I do not accept that Jason Skibicki is fucking mentally ill. I don't believe it. And I am sick. I'm sick of sick people using sickness, using chemical disorders as an excuse to do fucking crimes. Don't shoot up schools and call yourself depressed. Don't murder women and call yourself crazy. Like, yes, you are insane, but it's not because you have a mental illness. It's because you are fucked up. You're fucked up. So that's that. Okay? I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to this case, and I want good things from this case. I want a good outcome, and I want change, okay? Because the solution is not just in punishing the people who do crimes, right? It is in finding who the victims are of these crimes and figuring out what were the situations that parties were in which made this circumstance possible. Okay? When we talk about Starbucks in Osborne closing because of crime, what are the crime situations? Are people fucking poor? Are people fucking bored? Like, what is the point of a city? It is to explore, it's to live in, it's to enjoy. Nobody wants to be cooped up in their home, otherwise they end up doing shit like this, right? People like to be out in the world and participating in the world, and things are too expensive, things are too terrifying, things are closing. People do not have community shit that they want to do because there's no fucking community shit to do, right? Like, what are the institutions that we need to start funding and keeping going in order for people to keep going, right? And if Starbucks leaves, okay, that's fine. You know what you should open there? You should open up an Osborne Biz cafe for students. The coffee staff is already there. You can do a community donation. You can make a negotiation with the people of that rental property to have it be like co-owned between the city, the business owners, and then the community itself, right? Like, you want to keep the money and the investment local, hire locals, and it's like hire the people who be stealing from fucking Starbucks to make the Osborne Biz Cafe coffee, right? Like, there are fucking solutions, and it's all coming from the community, and I'm very excited to see what is going to happen with this case. I'm stoked. Thanks for being here. What a this we've just had. That's it. Hang out or don't. This is enough. Goodbye.